Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the second graph that I wanted to make today, and it comes about because you guys are getting so that you know a fair amount of stuff here in AP Micro. And one of the ways they start to distinguish on the AP test between our studs and our duds is they start to combine some topics here. So the other day you ran into a question in class where we had an externality and a price ceiling. And that threw some people off because they forgot about their price ceilings and their price floors. It's been a little bit now. So we're going to take a second here. I'm going to review your price ceiling for you, and then we're going to see if you can apply it to the price floor on your own. So I had just a regular supply and demand graph. It says it's for iPhones. And I've got my consumer surplus and I've got my producer surplus. So take a second and think to yourself, what the heck, where would I put a price ceiling on this graph? Think to yourself for a second, and then I'm going to put it up here. So think. Keep thinking. Alright, so a price ceiling. What is the goal of a price ceiling? The ceiling is going to keep the price from going too high. So I'm going to erase this producer surplus and consumer surplus. So originally we were at 150. We don't want to get to 150 if we want a price ceiling or an effective or binding price ceiling. So you're going to put it in like so. We'll call that our price ceiling at $100. Now, the things you got to know now, originally we sold 50 iPhones. But now at our price ceiling, the first thing we got to do is we got to figure out how many iPhones are going to get sold. So take a second again. See if you can figure out how many iPhones are we going to sell. Correct answer, tough to tell on this graph. I'm going to call it 30. And why is that? Well, at $100, your demanders, your buyers, they're super pumped about $100 iPhones. And so they want to rush out and they want to buy more of them. Their quantity of demand increases. However, your sellers, they're not so thrilled to get 100 instead of 150. So they say, look, this isn't worthwhile, so we're going to cut back down to 30. And even though our buyers want, let's call that 70, we're only going to make 30. And that's that. So our quantity sold, we're limited by how many the sellers will sell here, and that's 30. Which now means this has become inefficient here, because we're not meeting where our original equilibrium point was at 50, where buyers and sellers originally said, hey, we agree that 150 is fair price, 50 iPhones, that's what we would like. So now we're below that, which means we have inefficiency, so we're also going to have deadweight loss. So remember, this is consumer and producer surplus that has been lost due to inefficiency. Well, extend up here. In between here is where that deadweight loss has to be, so you get your deadweight loss triangle, like so. Notice, what happens to your deadweight loss as your price ceiling works its way lower and lower? So if the price ceiling were at $50, what would happen to my deadweight loss triangle? It'd get bigger. Get bigger. Now, remember, if you wanted to find a number value here, the way you would do it is base times height, 1/2 base times height here. So the base of this triangle is 100. 100. The height looks like I got it at 20. Divide by 2 equals, let me see, hopefully I don't mess it up on camera here, I'm going to go 1,000. Alright. Hopefully I didn't embarrass myself, but I think I'm good there. Now, the producer surplus, consumer surplus, let's do producer surplus first because that's easier to see here. So you need 3 things, remember. You need the quantity. Well, the quantity is now 30. The price is 100. So you know it's got to be somewhere bound in here. And now you got your supply curve. So my producer surplus looks like my base is 100 here. And my height is 30. So 100, let's try that again. 100 times 30 divided by 2. 1,500? Huh? So remember, I get $100. Well, it costs me $1. That's a consumer surplus, a 99, and on and on and on, all the way up. Okay. Now my consumer surplus is a little bit trickier. What's the price of these iPhones now? It's 100. So notice, consumers used to pay 150. Now they're paying only 100. So we're going to see an expansion here for the people that are still getting to buy iPhones. So here's your demand curve, like so. But you're limited by your quantity here, and your price here. So you get kind of a weird trapezoid here. And if I wanted to find a number value for it, I'd take this triangle up here, which is going to be 100 times 30, so it's going to be my 1,500. 1,500 plus, let's see, what's this box here? It's 100 by 30, which is 3,000. Equals 4,500. Okay? So this all is consumer surplus. So that's the idea with price ceiling in a nutshell. Price ceilings also create shortages or surpluses here. Since we're here, might as well talk about that. Do we get a shortage or a surplus? If you know, can you tell me how big it is? Well, to answer this question, I'll ask you a couple others. First, at the price ceiling, how many people are going to rush out and buy iPhones? At $100, what's your quantity demanded? 70. How many people are going to sell them? Or how many get sold? 100. Quantity supplied is 30. You got 70 folks showing up to the store. You got 30 iPhones on the shelf. That means how many folks are going home without an iPhone? 40 short here. Alright, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step out of the way. The question is, can you do the same thing now for a price floor? Think about what the goal of a floor is as I'm standing here. What's the floor doing? It's holding me up. So your price floor is going to try to keep the prices nice and high. Again, take a picture of it, send it to me, or text it to me, and let me know what your answers are. I'd love to see them. Okay, thanks guys. Have a good afternoon.